Hey, welcome to our three-part series on goals. If you are a woman struggling with finances, struggling with goal setting, frustrated about not meeting the goals that you've set, whether they're financial, whether they're spiritual, whether they're physical, you're in the right place. My name is Larissa Palazzolo, and I am a debt to freedom coach. My mission is to help women become financially free. And if you are in the group for the first time, if you've been around for a while, this is actually a brand new teaching. This is about goals. Now, it's very interesting already in the group, people have accomplished some amazing, amazing goals. Denise got rid of all of her credit card debt, all of it, all of it. She is no longer making the bankers rich. She has learned to strategize how she uses a credit card, staying out of debt, and she just took an amazing international trip with her husband and had it all paid for. So these are the sort of results that have been happening in the group. Grace, I'm blown away by the amount of years she has taken off her debt and her mortgage, paying down tens of thousands of dollars, saving tens of thousands of dollars in debt. So goals have been happening already in this group. And but we never talked about setting goals. We never said, hey, we're going to set some goals. We just said there's a problem. Let's find a way to attack it. Now, when we talk about goal setting here, I am going to tell you some things you probably haven't heard, some things you may have heard, but there's a few tricks to goal setting. I'm also going to share in this three-part series how, over the past 25 years, I have never, ever failed on a New Year's resolution in 25 years. All right, there's a cheat code coming up. Going to talk about that in this series as well. We're going to keep it short, right about 30 minutes. So let's get in, let's get out, let's talk about goals. What is a goal? Think about it. Now, again, if you're right here, you need a piece of paper, lipstick, pen, pencil, mascara. I don't care. Find something you can write with. Pay attention, focus. I get paid $200 an hour for coaching. So take this time as if you've actually paid that money. What would you want to get out of it? All right, so as you're taking notes, what are goals? People talk about, hey, let's do some goal setting. Let me have a resolution in the new year. What do I want to do? But we don't really talk about what goals are. So I want you to write down the word goals. I want you to write down what does that mean to you? What is a goal to you if you were to define it? As you do that, if you're on here, you're probably already thinking, yes, I have some goals I want to reach. I have some goals. Maybe it is to pay off your credit card debt. Maybe it's to pay off your mortgage. Maybe it's to make more. Maybe it's to give more to charity. Maybe it's just to lose a couple of pounds again, year after year, and it just hasn't been working. So what is a goal to you? Is it a set it, we got it, we reached the goal, we're done? If that's what a goal is to you, that is probably the reason why you get stuck. Okay, one of the reasons. People get out of debt. They say, yes, I'm out of debt. I reached that goal. What happens? They go right back into debt. Was that so? When you make your goal, how about you don't want to go back into debt after you get out of debt? How about losing weight? How many people have said, I want to lose weight? They lose the weight, then they gain it back plus more. There's a problem with the way people are setting goals. and reaching achievements or not reaching achievements and falling backwards. I've been there, I've done it. I've done the yo-yo weight thing. Many goals I've hit, and then what happens? It falls apart. So let's talk about the goal. What is a goal? What is a synonym of goal? What does it mean? It could be an ideal or a value. So think about that. The goal can be your ideal. So maybe if you have a weight goal, maybe instead of saying, I want to lose 30 pounds, maybe the ideal is, I want to maintain health. And that includes being at a specific weight and staying there. Okay, so you want to be specific. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Okay, so when we talk about ideals, it's not just an achievement, it's not just a conquest, it's not just an effort, and then I cross the finish line and then I'm done. If that's the way you've been setting goals, if you're anything like me, that's how I used to set goals. I had to look into my identity, my identity. Who are you? All right, so over this three-part series, we're going to get deep into it, but you have to understand what you're coming here for. Okay, you had a goal in mind. We're going to restructure that goal so you get success. Creation is another synonym of goals. Creation. Now, if you know me, I believe in the spiritual. I am a faith-based woman. I believe in God. I believe the Bible is the best success book ever written. And you know what? If you don't believe it, that's okay. These still work. All right, so I'm not going to judge you. Don't judge me. We're here to grow. Creation. If you believe, as I do, that we are created in the Creator's image, then we were designed for creation. Creation is about growth. Growth is about prosperity. That is a surging upwards to produce something. So again, just stay with me here. Stay with me here. This is what we need to look at. Creation. There is a phrase that says, I create as I speak. I create as I speak. You may have heard the term abracadabra. It was actually a little mispronunciation of a Hebrew verbiage that means I create as I speak. So I want you to think right now the words you speak towards your goals. Do you say, it's too difficult, it's too hard, I'll never get there? If you do that with your words, you're programming your mind, you're planting those seeds. When you plant those seeds, that's the crop you're going to get. Okay, so first step with any goal, any creation, any idea you have, you must speak life over it, even if you don't believe it. Maybe you're sick right now. This is the winter season. A lot of people get sniffles and colds and flu. And if somebody's like, how are you doing? And you say, I'm sick. You are creating, staying there with just your words. You know, to some people, they get better faster. You are going to feel a little bit better if instead of saying, I'm sick, how about you say, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So rephrase what you want. I'll never forget when I was tutoring, did that for 15 years. The director of the school that I was at, she had an interesting way of using that technique. Sometimes kids would run down the hall, as kids do, and what do you think you want to say if kids are running down the hall? Don't run, stop running, don't run. The brain just keeps hearing that word run, run, run. Don't, it just really doesn't register. So what she would do, she would say, walk, 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 and they would walk. So phrase things in that positive way for what you want to receive. All right, so hope that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense, and let me know if you agree. And as I go through this in our short time together, if there is something that you don't agree with, that's okay. It's okay. Take whatever is going to move you forward and move forward. And I will say things that you probably don't agree with. And I will say things that you don't agree with on purpose to get your mind to think. Okay? So I like to phrase things in a way that rankles people sometimes, sort of like devil's advocate. I like to say things in a way where that's not right. That's not the way I always heard it. Because if I say things in the way you've always heard it, you're going to continue to get the same results you always got. And that's not what you want. That's not why you're here. So phrase things in what you want. If you want more financial prosperity and you go to the store and there's something you want, you don't have the cash on you right there, don't say, we can't afford it. We can't afford it this month, because you're programming yourself that you can't afford things. Look around your house at all the junk you bought. I've done that. I cleared out truckloads of items that I just wasted money on. So instead of saying, I can't afford it, you could say, I'm going to choose to make a different financial decision right now. I'm going to choose to wait on that. I'm going to make better financial choices. I'm going to take some time to consider if that purchase is going to move us closer to our goals or farther away. Okay, it takes practice, but it will give you benefits. You will reap a great reward when you plant those seeds. Okay, so first thing, again, as I said, positive, rephrase it in a positive way. The second thing, let's just change the word goal. Let's change it. For me, and you might be like me, how many goals have you set and failed? I've set a lot of goals and failed. And then I've set the same one up again and failed again because I didn't change things up. It really erodes confidence if you set a goal and say you're going to achieve it and you don't achieve it. When you fail to follow through with what you say, it crushes confidence. Okay? Follow through is going to increase your confidence. It's going to increase your faith in yourself. And to have faith in yourself requires faithfulness in what you say and what you do. It all needs to be congruent. So how about we try and call it ideals? What are your ideals? What are your ideals for your weight, for your health, for your finances, for your family, for your relationships? What are your ideals? Because that's something you can continue to grow in. It's not, I got the goal, I'm done with the goal. All right. So number two, let's think of a new word. Let's take our mind away from goal setting. I've failed before. Let's put a new word. Let's put a new word in. We're reprogramming ourselves for success. Now, under that number two with ideals, this is huge. This is huge. This is huge for your goals. I'm going to use the example of weight loss. I think as a woman who's gone through menopause, as a woman who's had health issues. Yeah, weight, feeling a little extra fluffy in the tummy is a struggle for many of us. So if you're like me, exercise can be a burden. I have to eat right. I have to exercise. What am I going to do? What am I going to do to get this weight off? Do I need to try Weight Watchers or Noom or hire a trainer? We know what we need to do for health. And sometimes carrying a little extra weight is okay. Sometimes carrying a little extra is not unhealthy. But have a picture of your ideal. Write your ideal that you're going to be growing towards. And accept it as your identity. Accept it as your identity. I cannot tell you, you have to try it out. We will talk more about it more. You have to accept it as your identity. When I was nearly 200 pounds, I had for years tried so many things. And I accepted at that time my identity as just somebody that had a bad metabolism, somebody that had gone through immune dysfunction, somebody that just had bad hormones, and that I was just stuck with the weight. That was an identity that I accepted, and I had to change that identity. Even when I didn't see it in the mirror, for what I did is I changed the identity to I'm strong and I'm healthy and I make healthy choices. And what would a strong, healthy, trim-toned woman do? What would she do during the day? And I would look after people who had achieved that. I would look people who already had the identity to see what they were doing. Now, here's a big thing. For advice, whether it's weight goals or financial goals, whatever they are, you're not going to take advice from someone who doesn't have what you want. If they don't have what you want, don't take advice from them. Go to the person that has what you want and say, how did you do it? Give me some advice. And on the other hand, don't take criticism from that person either. You don't need that. So as I created this identity for myself that I wanted, strong, healthy, I would wake up, I would think about, I have the identity of a strong, trim, healthy woman. So I am going to make this for lunch. I'm a strong, healthy, trim, toned woman. So I'm going to take that walk after dinner. And I programmed the identity. And this, some things are taught, some things are caught. And if you catch this, when I chose to do the things that a strong, healthy, trim woman would do, I created that identity. And sometimes it was hard, but I chose things that I could be consistent at. I chose things that would move me towards my goals, and I made the choice that this new habit, that what I was doing, I told myself I loved it, even if I didn't. And I told myself I would keep doing it, even if I did not get results, because this is my identity. I'm a person that works out, not overworks out. I have a regular, consistent schedule of working out, of drinking my water, making healthy food choices. That is a change I made, and I will do that for the rest of my life, even if I don't see any results ever for the rest of my life. Do you get that? Because when you start out on something, when you start out on that ideal that you want to achieve, you're not going to see results the next day. Who's done that? They've started a new diet routine. They get on the scale the next day, nothing's changed, or they've gained a pound. And you're like, well, I did everything right for 24 hours or a week. And sometimes you still don't see much change. But if you choose the identity, then you are going to keep the action, even if nothing happens. But here's the thing, friend. When you plant the seed, when you do the action, you will get a result. You will get the result, and you will keep the result. But be willing to love the action. Okay? And I cannot explain how powerful that is and how that changed things for me. That changed with my weight goals. I lost the weight. I created that identity. And I would tell myself, you are that identity, a strong, healthy, fit woman. So, of course, you're going to make that choice, and you're going to do it for the rest of your life because you love it and you love the results. This also helps with finances, and we are here in a group about paying off debt. It's the same thing with those habits. All the habits that you've learned in the group about paying off debt will keep you debt-free once you get debt-free. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it seems like you're at the bottom of the hill looking up and you're like, oh, there's so much to do. Am I ever going to get there? You will get there, but start loving the habits. Start loving the habits because you're going to need that before you see the results. All right, so got some homework for you with the goals. Whew. All right, so we talked about reprogramming our mind. We are going to call them a new name that does not have any negativity with it. I'm going to call them ideals. I am creating ideals for myself, not goals. You might want to call them values or accomplishments or acquisitions or achievements or deeds or creations. Lots of, this is your goal setting workshop. So you are going to choose what resonates with you. So we talked about that. Your words I create as I speak, abracadabra. You're going to reframe in a positive way what you want. So instead of saying, I don't want to be broke anymore, no, don't say that. Say, I want to have peace and abundance in my finances. Don't say, I don't want to be broke anymore, because then you're saying that word broke is going to make it harder for you. Yeah, don't say that. Don't say, I don't want to be broke anymore. Say what you want, not what you don't want. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Tomorrow, same time, same channel, we're going to talk about the categories of goals and how to order them, how to prioritize them. So I want you to think about your goals. I have 4 specific categories, and there's subcategories. So I have self, I have spouse, I have service, and I have smile. I broke it up into 4 categories. Some people have a wheel of 8 goals, a wheel of 10 or 12 goals. I'm keeping it simple. Now, if you're not married, you're not going to have the spouse section. If you want to be married, you might want to have that section on how you're going to find that husband. Service has to do with where you provide value and where you serve. And as women, we serve in a lot of places. We serve in the workplace if we have a job, we serve at home, we serve in our relationships with our spouse, with our children, with our friends, with ourselves. Smile. Always talk about that fun budget, even when you're budgeting and getting out of debt. You want to have that fun budget. Something that's going to make you smile. So we'll talk about that category. And yourself. I'm going to tell you why I prioritize that first. And some people are going to give me flack about that. No, you can't have yourself as the top priority because God needs to be the priority. The spouse needs to be the priority. The children need to be the priority. Something else. We'll talk about this more tomorrow because we're just about out of time. But when I talk about self, you've heard it, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Can't pour from an empty cup. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, and I want you to think about it. Put the oxygen mask on yourself. What are you putting? That's the breath. That's the breath of the life. And as a woman that believes in the Bible, if you're one of those women as well, right along with me, what is the breath of life? That is the Spirit of God, is the breath of life. So when I tell you to put your oxygen mask on first to get the breath of life from God, it's really putting that for me as the highest priority. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about who we're serving first. We'll talk about where we are providing value, and we're going to talk about how to have fun along the way. So I will see you tomorrow. Feel free to put some questions in. Your homework is to, again, going to repeat it one final time. Instead of saying goals, let's create a word that doesn't have baggage. I'm using ideals. Creation, I create as I speak. Speak in a positive way. Say what you want, not what you don't want. And then finally, think about all of the areas of your life that you want improvement in, and we'll work on prioritizing that tomorrow. So thank you again for joining me. If you're new in this group, absolutely drop an emoji, post, say hi, and I am looking forward to helping you create a life of peace and freedom and life to the full. Thanks again. See you tomorrow.